Hi everyone. Well, it's that time. I'm turning up the volume and away we go. Reality is such an interesting word. It seems to mean something different for everyone. Yet it contains some sort of meaning that we all, well, most of us, can agree that we share. I know that you are here because you want to understand just what is happening to the people of the world who go missing in our forests, our parks, and even on our city streets. Did you know that every indigenous culture worldwide has a belief in beings that share our world with us? No, I'm not talking about humans. I am talking about beings that exist alongside of us in different realities. The record for them is quite substantial. Yes, yeah, I know. I can hear you guys already saying it. But Kat, I've heard the fairy tales about others having lived here. Blah, blah, blah. Well, that is all good, but do you really know what the people are speaking of when they talk about this? There are an infinite number of planets and universes and realities that were created long before we ever made it into this existence. Quite a few of these were inhabited with beings that evolved and died out long before us. But there are some still alive to this very day. Everyone knows the story of Adam and Eve, but the numbers shrink when you ask if they know the story of Adam and Lilith. Lilith was Adam's first wife that was created as a companion. But according to the history of their beginnings, she refused to lie beneath him in subjugation and left him to live in the forest caves with other beings that we know of as demons. Thus, her children began to propagate and populate the night and darkness that they were born into. To say that they hated humans is an understatement, for we are here and were considered weak by them. Just as many races of humans were to populate this realm, so were her children. We have many, many names for these children of Lilith, you guys. We call them demons, demigods, aliens, fae, or fairies. I myself hate the word fairy. It makes me want to puke. People tend to think that they are cute little things, who just want to hit us with their wands or maybe sex us up. And just as with humans, the fairy people, and I'm using that term loosely here, are divided into two separate groups. One consists of those beings that are friendly to humankind, and a meeting with them is usually a positive experience. The hostile, aggressive beings belong to the other group. That race of beings is the beings that I want to discuss. And today, this is going to be, like I said, a two-parter because it's kind of intense. You see me kind of looking here. I'm looking for my mouse because this is really a big thing for me to have to sit here and explain all this and kind of delve deep into it and make it a two-parter. Okay, the race of beings that I want to discuss, like I said, are called the Shea. The Shea are not cute or whimsical. They are powerful beings who inhabit the natural realm. Okay, these guys, I don't know how to explain it. They're not always friendly towards human. They're large, hyper intelligent beings that they have skills and lifespans beyond those of human beings. Okay, and when I say that, I mean they live for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. Getting up close and personal with you there. you got to understand that what we consider a long period of time really isn't a long period of time for them. We were created with a portion of our lifespan because we gave it up to assume this vibrational frequency. Okay? The Shea don't have that. Shea referred originally to the burial mounds from the Bronze and the Neolithic periods, okay? These were viewed as the homes of various gods and other spirits. And in time, that word itself was used to describe these beings, you know. And even so, it really wasn't just for them. Humanity kind of messed up, and we used it to associate all beings that lived in certain realities that are parallel to us. The Shea themselves are, I don't know, I guess they kind of have a superiority to us, okay, in that they are able to cohabitate in our realm and in their realm, and it kind of got blurred because they were able to switch back and forth between the realms, okay? So when I say realms too, I want to clarify that. They're just a different vibrational frequency. Everything on this planet vibrates at a known frequency, okay? So sometimes the distinctions between a god and a Shea are blurred. They live in a place that we humans call otherworld. They journey to this world via portals, you know, such as burial mounds or a particular tree. And let me say that again, okay, because that's real important what I just said there, and I want everyone to remember what I just said. They live in the other world, but they journey into this world via portals and mounds and particular trees. Okay, portals are one of those things that have been known and theorized about for centuries, but not until recently were we really given knowledge of these things until NASA admitted or discovered, or whatever you want to say. These were then given real validity to us as human beings, okay? Because we actually had to have that little stamp that said that they exist. When in reality, indigenous people have known for thousands upon thousands of years that otherworld and portals exist, okay? In otherworld, the Shea have their own society, okay? They are just like us. It's described as very much as a physical place, rather than like some abstract, bizarre place of, I guess you could call them flittering sex maniacs, you know, throwing pixie dust and whacking us with their wands. This silliness of degrading the Shea seems, it was made to make them seem harmless, you know, to us human beings. It was done as a way of making humanity less fearful of them, and as a way of creating a reality where we humans rule their environment and are now seen as the apex predator instead of them. And I thought that we might want to stop here for a minute and take note, okay, or rather a moment to think about the exact function of what a fairy tale does, okay? Are they just like metaphors, or are they moral tales for children, or are they describing, you know, an actual race of creatures? Well, the easiest way for a human being to keep knowledge is to pass it down in story form. So people being taken by fairies and 20th century aliens, have been compared by several different authors and such. And these days, people seem to find it easier to think about creatures from another planet than to consider that there may really be other sapient creatures from this planet, ones that exist at some other level of reality that is not easily perceived, by a lot of our standard senses. It's kind of hard for your average Joe who really doesn't think about this. The basic idea is that a world that runs alongside and even overlaps with this one is considered an unseen reality. Okay? So what this ended up evolving into was like a blood feud between them, the Shea, and us. Okay? They have the ability to shapeshift. Okay? They can reform, reshape, remold their environment. And that means they also have the ability, the basic ability, to appear as anything and everything that they want. Couple this with the fact that they're not particularly fond of us, and you have a basic recipe for deception. Okay, it's something that they've been doing for thousands and thousands of years. And like I said, consider it the ultimate blood feud. I'm kind of loath to stop tonight because so many people, when I share knowledge, kind of jump ahead and fill in with their own things that they want to say when it's not what I'm trying to portray to people. Okay? I have to give the knowledge straight. Sometimes it's not a fun thing. Sometimes it's not a good thing. But it is what it is. So I think I'm just going to continue on here until I get too worn out to continue. Shea have the ability to appear, as I said, shapeshift, control their own DNA, and pretty much put it into any form that they want. They can make us see whatever they want us to see. So you have people saying that they think it's Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Steyama, Champway, Yeti, almost whatever, beings that are eating, stealing human beings. That's not the truth. Steyama do a lot of things. But what better way to cause dissent between human beings than to assume the form or non-form of a Steyama? These beings can also assume the form of your big black so-called dogmen, the big wolfy types. And I'm putting that out there because I really want people to understand something. There are people out there saying that they've heard from other people, other researchers, that Bigfoot is taking campers, hikers, children, people, whatever. And then there are other people that are saying, well, it's face eaters. Okay, well, it could be a face eater, but if you are at odds with a face eater, wouldn't you try to point humans in another direction and make them think that it is a face eater that is attacking, dragging, carrying off, eating, consuming people? Okay. And there's one very important fact here that keeps being overlooked. And that's the fact that Shea use trees. Okay. They use the trees to travel through. Okay. Now I've heard other researchers out there say, oh, it's the Bigfoot that used the trees to travel through. No, that's not true. Bigfoot can turn themselves into a form of vibrational frequency that appears as a ball of light. But Shea have the ability to transmogrify their bodies into other things. Not only that, they have the ability to use thought to mess with our thoughts and make us think certain things. You must keep a clear head when you're dealing with these things. Now, everything brought from the dark into the light will be shown as to be truthful. Okay? And I know I'm going to get a lot of people telling me, well, prove it, Kat, prove it. I kind of don't have to, because if you've followed me for any length of time, everything that I say about these beings and the Steyama and the face eaters, it eventually gets proven. Just like I said with the portals, it would be proven. The vocabulary that I use to show that I've given other people on their shows to use for speaking with the Steyama has been proven again and again to work. So I need people to understand that when you are out and about in the forest, your brain, your eyes are not your best friend, okay? Because they're going to categorize this. I just had this discussion with somebody the other day. The Shea take advantage of that, okay? Because we cannot, well, there are not as many of us, I should say, that can look at them and see them for what they are, okay? So they take advantage of that and they play off of that. So I want people to be very careful about what I'm saying here. And I'm going to finish the other part of this video tomorrow, offering proof of what I'm saying as truth. Okay? But most of the indigenous tribes worldwide know of these beings. They know them. They know what they do, how they do it, and why they do it. Okay, so I want everyone to understand that these people are, I'm calling them people too, because they are a race of beings, are not our friends. Okay, a lot of pagans, Wiccans, things like that are going to dispute me on this because they work with them. Are you sure? Are you sure what you're working with is what you think you're working with? Because I can pretty much guarantee you it's not. Okay? As I said, everything that I teach comes from the light and is brought into the light. So don't be deceived. Okay? Don't. Because if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it might just be a Shea. Okay, and that's where I'm going to leave off for tonight, because I want everybody to think about what I'm saying here. And when I do the video tomorrow, I'll actually answer questions in that video, and I don't care how long I have to go. I'll answer them until you guys don't have any more questions for me, because this is my hand that I'm extending out, okay? And I've decided if I'm going to draw it back as a nub, well, it might as well match the other nub, right? So think about this. If you're dealing with a being that can assume the form of any creature from this realm, from their realm, or from a completely different dimension, that's got to be kind of scary. At least it is to me, because I've had to deal with these things. So through the centuries, dealing with these things, we've had to learn to protect ourselves. And there are ways to protect yourselves. It's just not being given out as general information to humanity, because we want, by we, I'm saying humans in general, our leaders, people throughout history have wanted to make sure that we think we're at the top of the food chain here. And we're not. And that's being proven time and time again. So everything that's hidden will come into the light. And I'm here right now getting ready to shine a great big old halogen flashlight on it. So think about that, guys. Think about what you want to ask me tomorrow, because I am totally serious here. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to write this all out, and I will post it on my Facebook page. I'll post it on my Patreon site. And I'm kind of thinking about doing a blog again. You know, I used to have my blog, and I'm just done. I feel like everything I teach either gets rolled over or misconstrued. And I really, really want everybody to understand that this is so serious. And real quick, people are asking me, why don't the other tribes share this information? Well, it's kind of hard to share information with someone when they keep biting the hand that is extended to them, you know? And it's hard to deal with people that have betrayed you over and over and over, as history has shown. And you'll hear my poor cat in the background. He's very old and it's dusty out tonight. We've got a haboob going on here. Yes, that is a magical word from Arizona. But I'm going to hop off of here now. And everybody, write down your questions, please, because I will answer them. I don't care if I have to sit here for 6 hours. I'll answer them as long as YouTube will let me do it. So, that being said, think about what I said, and I will answer questions as long. And I'm going to put a thing here saying that if you're obnoxious to me and throw me out hate and call me filthy things on here, I'm not going to answer your questions. But in the meantime, if we keep it civil, I'll answer anybody's questions for as long as I can. So, you guys have a good night, and I will talk at you later.